Weston-super-Mare { ɛwɛstən, is a seaside resort in Somerset, England, on the Bristol Channel 18 miles southwest of Bristol between Worlebury Hill and Bleadon Hill. It includes the suburbs of Oldmixon, West Wick and Worle. Its population at the 2011 census was 76,143. Since 1983, Weston has been twinned with Hildesheim, Germany, although there is evidence in the local area of occupation since the Iron Age. It was still a small village until the 19th century, when it became a seaside resort, and was connected with local towns and cities by a railway, and 2 piers were built. The growth continued until the second half of the 20th century, when tourism declined and some local industries closed. A regeneration program is being undertaken with attractions including the Helicopter Museum, Weston-super-Mare Museum, Grand Pier and an aquarium. The paddle steamer Waverley and MV Balmoral offered AC trips from Knightstone Island to various destinations along the Bristol Channel and Severn Estuary. Cultural venues include the Playhouse, the Winter Gardens and Blakehay Theatre. Owing to the large tidal range in the Bristol Channel, the low tide mark in Weston Bay is about 1 mile from the seafront. Although the beach itself is sandy, low tide uncovers areas of thick mud, hence the colloquial name, Weston-super-Mare. These mud flats are very dangerous to walk in and across by the mouth of the River Axe. Just to the north of the town is Sandpoint, which marks the lower limit of the Severn Estuary and the start of the Bristol Channel. It is also the site of the Middle Hope Biological and Geological Site of Special Scientific interest. In the centre of the town is Ellenborough Park, another SSSI due to the range of plant species found there. Toponymy: Weston comes from the Anglo-Saxon for the Weston settlement. Super-Mare is Latin for above sea, and was added to distinguish it from the many other settlements named Weston in the diocese. Prior to 1348 it was known as Weston-juxta-Mare. The name was changed by Ralph of Shrewsbury, who was the Bishop of Bath and Wells. Between the 14th and 17th centuries the super-Mare part of the name disappeared and it was just known as Weston, although in 1610 it was recorded as Weston on the moor being the Welsh word for sea. History. Early history: Weston's oldest structure is Worlebury Camp on Worlebury Hill, dating from the Iron Age. Castle Batch was a castle that once stood overlooking the town. The present site has an earthwork mound of 160 feet in diameter, which is believed to be the remains of a motte. The parish was part of the Winterstoke Hundred. The medieval church of St. John was demolished in 1824 and built anew on the same site, though a stump of the medieval preaching cross survives by the exterior south wall. The former rectory is a 17th-century structure with later additions. Though it remains adjacent to the church, it has not been a parsonage house since the end of the 19th century. Today it is known as Glebe House and is divided into flats. The old thatched cottage restaurant on the seafront carries the date 1774. It is the surviving portion of a summer cottage built by the Rev. William Leaves of Rington. 19th century. Early in the 19th century, Weston was a small village of about 30 houses, located behind a line of sand dunes fronting the sea, which had been created as an early sea wall after the Bristol Channel floods of 1607. The Piggott family of Brockley, who were the local lords of the manor, had a summer residence at Grove House. Weston owes its growth and prosperity to the Victorian-era boom in seaside holidays. Construction of the first hotel in the village started in 1808. It was called Reeves. Along with nearby Burnham-on-Sea, Weston benefited from proximity to Bristol, Bath and South Wales. The first attempt at an artificial artificial harbour was made in the late 1820s at the islet of Knightstone, and a slipway built from Anchorhead towards Bernbeck Island. Isambard Kingdom. Brunel and his family lived in Weston at Swiss Villa, while he was supervising the construction of the Bristol and Exeter Railway in the area. With the opening of the railway in 1841, thousands of visitors came to the town from Bristol, the Midlands and further afield, on works outings and bank holidays. Mining families also came across the Bristol Channel from South Wales by paddle steamer. To cater for them, Bernbeck Pier was completed in 1867, offering in its heyday amusement arcades, tea rooms, amusement rides and a photographic studio. However, it is now in a derelict state and has been added to English Heritage's buildings at risk register, but visitors can still admire its structure from behind barbed wire. It was designed by Eugenius Birch with ironwork by the Isker Foundry of Newport, Monmouthshire. It is a Grade II * listed building. Large areas of land were released for development from the 1850s onwards. Large detached villas, for the middle classes, were built on the southern slopes of Worlebury Hill. Semi-detached and terraced housing was built on the low moorland behind the seafront in an area known as South Ward. Many of these houses have now been converted into bed science. Most of the houses built in the Victorian era are built from stone and feature details made from Bath stone, influenced by local architect Hans Price. In 1885, the first transatlantic telegraph cable of the Commercial Cable Company was brought ashore, and the company started a long association with the town, ending in 1962. Guglielmo Marconi, the inventor of wireless telegraphy, successfully transmitted radio signals across the Bristol Channel in the spring of 1897, from Penarth to Breandown. A second railway, the Weston, Clevedon and Portishead Light Railway, opened on the 1st of December 1897, connecting Weston to Clevedon. The terminus station was at Ashcombe Road. The railway was extended to Portishead on the 7th of August 1907, but was closed in 1940. Architecture. Much of the character of the buildings in the town derives from the use of local stone, much of it from the town quarry. Notable among the architects working in the 19th century was Hans Price. Many examples of his work are still to be seen: the Town Hall, the Mercury Office, the Constitutional Club, villas and numerous other domestic dwellings. The Odeon Cinema by Thomas Cecil Howitt is notable for fully retaining many Art Deco features both internally and externally, and retaining its original theatre organ, a Compton from 1935. It is believed to be the only cinema organ in the West Country left working in its original location and is still in regular use. Other organs by Compton in Weston-super-Mare can be found at Victoria Methodist Church and All Saints Church by George Bodley. 20th century. Local traders, unhappy that visitors were not coming as far as the centre of the town, built a new pier closer to the main streets. Opened in 1904 and known as the Grand Pier, it was designed to be 1.5 miles long. Further development occurred after World War I, with the Winter Gardens Pavilion in 1927, the open-air pool, with its arched concrete diving board, and an airfield dating from the interwar period. Art Deco influences can be seen in much of the town's architecture from this period. During World War II, evacuees were accommodated in the town. However, the area was also home to war industries, such as aircraft and pump manufacture, and a Royal Air Force station at Rathloughing. The town was also on the returned route of bombers targeting Bristol and was itself bombed by the Luftwaffe. The first bombs fell in June 1940, but the worst attacks were in January 1941 and in June 1942. Large areas of the town were destroyed, particularly Orchard Street and the boulevard. On 3 and 4 January 1941, incendiary bombs fell on the town. The Air Ministry set up a Q station decoy at Bleadon in an attempt to divert the bombers to an unpopulated area. In the later part of the war, United States Army troops were billeted in the area, but they were relocated in the run-up to D-Day. RAF Weston-super-Mare was opened in 1936 by No. 24 Group with a single tarmac runway. It served as a flying candidates selection and initial training facility, and as a relief airport during World War II. Latterly as the Polish Air Force Staff College from April 1944 to April 1946. After the war it served as a logistics supply station, with helicopter makers Westland Helicopters on site until closure in 1987. Today there is an operational heliport on site used occasionally by the RAF Search and Rescue Service. The former Westland site, which closed in 2002, houses the Helicopter Museum featuring examples of Westland aircraft. Pride of place is given to an immaculate Westland Wessex HCCMK. 4. Formerly of the Queen's Flight. Residential areas outside the town centre include the Oldmixon, Coronation, and Bourneville housing estates, built in the mid to late 20th century. Newer housing has since been built towards the east of the town in North Wall and Locking Castle, nearer to the M5 motorway. Weston-super-Mare has expanded to include the established villages of Milton, Wall, Uphill, Oldmixon, West Wick and Wick Street, Lawrence, as well as new areas such as St George and Locking Castle. In 1986, Weston General Hospital was opened on the edge of Uphill Village, replacing the Queen Alexandra Memorial Hospital on the boulevard, which was opened in 1928. 21st century. A structure known as Silica was installed at Big Lamp Corner during 2006. It is a piece of public art and advertising sign, a retail kiosk selling newspapers and hot food, as well as a bus shelter. It has been criticized by local residents who liken it to a carrot or a spaceship, although it is meant to symbolize man's harmony with the sea. This was part of North Somerset Council's ongoing civic pride initiative that has sought to revitalize Weston-super-Mare's public spaces, which had suffered a period of decline. Other public space improvements have been made throughout the town, such as improvements to the street scene in Grove Park Village. On the 28th of July 2008, the pavilion at the end of the Grand Pier was completely destroyed by a fire. 11 fire engines and 80 firefighters were unable to contain the blaze, which is believed to have started in the northeast tower of the pavilion. A competition was held to design a new pavilion, and the project awarded to the winning architect Angus Meek Architects of Bristol. Construction work began on the pier and new pavilion in 2009, and was scheduled to reopen in July 2010 following a £39 million rebuilding program. After continuing problems and setbacks leading to the pier not opening until a formal opening ceremony on the 23rd of October 2010, the overall costs have reached £51 million. During the same period of £34 million redevelopment of the promenade, including refurbishment of the marine lake and pedestrianisation of Pier Square. As part of the work, a scour protection apron and splash wall were added as part of flood prevention measures. At the end of the 20th and start of the 21st centuries, the town saw a growth in residential rehabilitation treatment centers for people with drug and alcohol problems, with attendant crime and social problems. These problems were highlighted by Weston's councillors, newspapers and the MP, John Penrose, during his maiden speech in the House of Commons in 2005. By 2009, it was home to around 11% of drug rehabilitation places in the UK, and North Somerset Council proposed an accreditation system examining the quality of counselling, staff training, transparency of referral arrangements, along with measures of the treatment's effectiveness and site inspections. Governance. Municipal history began in 1842 when a local act was obtained for paving, lighting, watching, cleansing and otherwise improving the town of Weston-super-Mare in the county of Somerset, and for establishing a market therein, under the jurisdiction of 18 appointed commissioners. Town commissioners gave way to an urban district council in 1894, and then in 1937 the town received its royal charter as a municipal borough. In 1974, under the Local Government Act 1972, it was merged into the Woodspring district of the Avon County Council, and became a chartered trustees town. Weston-super-Mare regained its town council in 2000, becoming a civil parish. The island of Steepholm is part of the civil parish of Weston-super-Mare. Before the 1st of April 1974, Weston-super-Mare came under the administration of Somerset County Council. When Avon was split up in 1996, it became the administrative headquarters of the Unitary Authority of North Somerset, one of the successor authorities, which remains part of the ceremonial county of Somerset. There are 11 electoral wards in Weston. The MP for the Weston-super-Mare parliamentary constituency is John Penrose of the Conservative Party, who won the seat from Liberal Democrat Brian Cotter in the 2005 general election. Weston is within the South West England constituency of the European Parliament, which elects 6 MEPs using the D'Hondt method of party list. Proportional representation. Geography. The mainly flat landscape of Weston is dominated by Worlebury Hill, 109 metres, which borders the entire northern edge of the town, and Bleadon Hill, 176 metres, which together with the River Axe and Brean at uphill form its southern border. In the centre of the town is Ellenborough Park, a site of special scientific interest due to the range of plant species found there. The beach of Weston Bay lies on the western edge of the town. The upper part is sandy, but the sea retreats a long way at low tide, exposing large areas of mud flats. The tidal range in this part of the Bristol Channel is great, and since beach and mud flats are on a gentle slope, attempting to reach the sea at times of low tide is inadvisable, as the sand gives way to mud which is very deep and has frequently resulted in loss of life over the years. Driving on the beach occasionally results the drivers of vehicles being caught unawares as they drive too close to the sea and break through the sand into the underlying mud and then stuck. The tidal rise and fall in the Severn Estuary and Bristol Channel can be as great as 14.5 metres, second only to Bay of Fundy in eastern Canada. This tidal movement contributes to the deposition of natural mud in bays such as Weston. There has been concern about pollution levels from industrial areas in Wales and at the eastern end of the Bristol Channel. However, this tends to be diluted by the Atlantic waters. There are measurable levels of chemical pollutants and little is known about their effects. Of particular concern of the levels of cadmium and to a lesser degree residual pesticides and hydrocarbons. Just to the north of the town is Sandpoint, which marks the lower limit of the Severn Estuary and the start of the Bristol Channel. It is also the site of the Middle Hope 84.1-HECTARE biological and geological site of special scientific interest. Climate. Along with the rest of southwest England, Weston has a temperate climate which is generally wetter and milder than the rest of the country. The annual mean temperature is approximately 10 degrees Celsius. Seasonal temperature variation is less extreme than most of the United Kingdom because of the adjacent sea temperature. The summer months of July and August are the warmest, with mean daily maxima of approximately 21 degrees Celsius. In winter, mean minimum temperatures of 1 to 2 degrees Celsius are common. In the summer, the Azores high pressure affects the southwest of England, however convective cloud sometimes forms inland, reducing the number of hours of sunshine. Annual sunshine rates are slightly less than the regional average of 1,600 hours. In December 1998, there were 20 days without sun recorded at ʻwɛstən. Most the rainfall in the southwest is caused by Atlantic depressions or by convection. Most of the rainfall in autumn and winter is caused by the Atlantic depressions, which is when they are most active. In summer, a large proportion of the rainfall is caused by sun heating the ground, leading to convection and to showers and thunderstorms. Average rainfall is around 700 millimeters. About 8 to 15 days of snowfall is typical. November to March have the highest mean wind speeds, and June to August have the lightest winds. The predominant wind direction is from the southwest. Demography. According to the United Kingdom Census 2001, the population of Weston-super-Mare is 76,143. This makes it the largest settlement in North Somerset, which has a total population of 188,564. 20.1% of the town's population are aged 65 or over, compared with the national average of 16.5%. 96.5% of the population are white, compared with 86% nationally. In 1831, the town population was 1,310, and in 1801 just 138. In 2001, the town comprised 34,441 households, while in 1829 it comprised just 250. The vast majority of the population described themselves as white in the 2011 census. 58.2% are Christian, with 32.4% describing themselves as having no religion. No other religious groups achieved as much as 0.5%. Economy. Since the 1970s, Weston has suffered a decline in popularity as a holiday destination, as have most British seaside resorts, due to the advent of cheap foreign holidays and the demise of the traditional works holidays of heavy and manufacturing industries elsewhere in UK. The town had become a centre of industries such as helicopter production and maintenance at the GKN Westland factory until its closure in 2002. However, the company still retains a design office under the name GKN Aerospace Engineering Services at the Winterstoke Road site. Road transport links were improved with the M5 motorway running close by, and the town now supports light industries and distribution depots, including Lidl's distribution centre for its southern-based stores, and is also a dormitory town for Bristol. Viewtrix, one of the largest semiconductor and video or audio distribution equipment companies in the television broadcasting industry, is based in the town. Two of the town's largest employers are the local council and Weston College, which has recently begun to offer university degrees as a secondary campus of Bath Spa University. Tourism. Weston-super-Mare is a popular tourist destination, with its long sandy beach, helicopter museum, Weston-super-Mare Museum, Grand Pier, Aquarium and seasonal Wheel of Weston. A 2009 survey by Visit England placed the Grand Pier in the top 10 free attractions in England. However, as of 2014, the pier charges for admission. On the beach lawns was a miniature railway operated by steam and diesel locomotives, which closed in 2012. The paddle steamer Waverley and MV Balmoral offer day trips from Knightstone Island to various destinations along the Bristol Channel and Severn Estuary. The Art Deco Tropicana, once a very popular Lido on the beach, has suffered years of neglect. It closed to the public in 2000, and despite a number of attempts to reopen it, permission was given to demolish it in 2012. International holidays, in association with the Helicopter Museum, are staged at the beach lawns over a long weekend around the end of July, when up to 75 helicopters from Europe fly in for a static display. There are frequent helicopter air experience flights from the museum heliport. There is also an annual display by the Red Arrows. Since the 1970s, the number of visitors staying for several nights in the town has decreased, but the numbers of day visitors has increased. In 1995 there were 4 million visitors, but by 2005 this had risen to 5.3 million. In 2007, 69% of visitors to the resort were day visitors, compared to 58% in 2005. The 2005 survey showed that day visitors stay in Weston-super-Mare for an average of 6 hours, whilst overnight visitors stay for an average of 5 nights. The largest percentage of visitors were from the West Midlands. Weston was found to attract two distinct groups: grey tourists over the age of 60 and families with young children. Weston Bike Nights are motorcycle meetings on the promenade each Thursday during the summer. They are organised by the Royal British Legion Riders branch to raise money for the Poppy Appeal. In July 2011, North Somerset Council gave planning approval to the £50 million Leisure Dome, a 210-metre indoor ski slope to be built on the site of Rathlogging. The site, which had not commenced construction as of November 2015, is planned to include a 40-metre climbing wall, a vertical wind tunnel for indoor skydiving, indoor surfing, a BMX track, a health and fitness club, and a number of shops and restaurants. The ski slope will be the longest in the United Kingdom. Transport. The 2.9-mile long 4 feet 8.5 gauge Weston-super-Mare tramways network opened on the 12th of May 1902. The main route ran from Burnbeg Pier along the seafront to the sanatorium. A branch line ran to the railway station and on to the tram depot in Locking Road. The fleet originally consisted of 12 double-deck cars and 4 open-sided test-rack cars. The system was bought out by the competing bus company and closed on the 18th of April 1937, by which time the fleet comprised 8 double-deck and 6 test-racks. An earlier proposal for the Weston and Clevedon tramway to run along the streets of the town to the seafront had failed to materialise, leaving the line as an ordinary railway with a terminus in Ashcombe Road. Weston is close to junction 21 of the M5 motorway, to which it is linked by a dual carriageway relief road built in the 1990s. This replaced Locking Road as the designated A370 route and avoided some of the traffic congestion along that narrower urban road. The Bristol and Exeter Railway arrived in Weston-super-Mare on the 14th of June 1841. This was not the route that serves today's Weston-super-Mare Railway station, but rather a single-track branch line from Weston Junction, midway between the present-day Wall and Uphill junctions, which terminated at a small station in Regent Street close to the High Street. A second larger station was constructed in 1866 to replace this, when planning permission was gained to create a loop station from the main line. After legal action was taken by residents along the proposed new route through issues of planning blight, the station on the current site was constructed in 1881. Today, the station, which is on a shorter loop off the Bristol to Exeter line, is situated close to the town centre and less than 10 minutes walk from the seafront. It has direct services to London Paddington operated by First Great Western, and also trains to stations such as Bristol, Taunton and Cardiff Central. Cross-country services run to Birmingham and north. The station has 2 platforms. Other stations are located at Weston, Milton and Worle. During the middle of the day they are served by the local trains between Taunton, Bristol and Cardiff, but during the peak periods London trains call at both stations. Weston Milton Station is on the single-track loop and therefore has only 1 platform, while Worle is on the main line and has 2 side platforms. The Western Loop diverges just to the southwest of Worle Station, and the junction is therefore known as Worle Junction. Most bus services are provided by First Somerset and Avon Crossville Motor Services. All services call at stops in the Regent Street and Big Lamp Corner area, including some stops in the adjacent High Street. Some town services and those to Sand Bay, Wells, Burnham-on-Sea and Bristol Airport start from a run via the main railway station. The service to Sand Bay is sometimes operated by an open-top bus. National Express and Baker's Dolphin operate long-distance coach services, mostly from the coach terminal in Locking Road Car Park, which is close to the railway station. The nearest operational airport to Weston is Bristol Airport, located 15 miles away at Lulls Gate.